to make a hazelnut and coffee cake for you now. The thing to remember about this is the basic measurements. So 225 grams of caster sugar straight into a mixer. 225 grams of butter that goes in, and this has been softened. And now we're going to whip this until it's really light and fluffy, and then I'm going to add the eggs, 4 eggs, and we're going to add them one at a time. Now this is looking good, so I've turned it down. It's really fluffy and light. The eggs have been incorporated. So in with the coffee now. I've got 60 millilitres of espresso coffee. The mixture may split slightly here, but that's not a problem because it's going to come together when the flour is added. Now I've got some coconut, just desiccated coconut here, and that can go in. And some hazelnuts. Now I've got whole hazelnuts here. You can toast them if you like. I'm just going to leave them as is, and I'm just going to roughly chop them. I'm also going to add some more to the topping later on. So we're going to roughly chop these, and then that also goes straight into the mixture. Okay, that's looking great. So the nuts can go in, try to get them in the bowl. Okay, and once that's incorporated, now we can add the flour. Again, a really easy measurement to remember, 225 grams. I'm using self-raising flour for this, the perfect flour for cakes like this. It's already got the leavening agent in it. So the dry ingredient goes in, and again, we're just going to pop that down on a really low speed because you don't want a flour bomb. So just on number 1 or 2 and just gently fold that in. I've just lined 2 tins with a bit of baking paper. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees, and I'm going to split this mixture in half and bake them in the 2 tins because we're going to sandwich them together. Now this is going to cook for about 35 to 40 minutes, or when we put a skewer in the center, it comes out clean. Now that these cakes have come out of the oven, they've cooled down. They need to be completely cool for us to ice them. And you can see they've risen nicely and they're perfect. So we'll leave them to cool just a little bit longer. That gives me just enough time to make a buttercream. So 200 grams of icing sugar. Again, straight into a mixer. I find this is the easiest way. Of course, you could do it by hand if you like. And 150 grams of butter, softened again. And I'm going to whip this before I start adding the coffee. So down with the paddle, and then very carefully again, because the icing sugar will go everywhere. We just wanted to start really slowly until it just starts to incorporate, and then we can whip it and it'll become nice and fluffy. Now that we've got a smooth buttercream, I'm going to flavour it with some more coffee. So we just start with a little bit, incorporate it, and you'll see it start to stain that buttercream there. Probably about 15 to 30 millilitres. You don't want this mixture to be too wet, but again, we still want to taste that coffee. And in actual fact, I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. I love the sweetness and just a little hint of salt to bring out all the flavours there. So just a small amount. Oh gosh, that smells good. You need good, strong coffee. And now, this is not only my favourite part, I think everyone's favourite part is dressing the cake. I'm going to keep this one as the base, and I'm going to add half of this buttercream, this coffee buttercream, to the centre. And just using a palette knife, we're just going to spread it out. And don't spread it out all the way to the end, because as soon as I put that top on, it will squish it a little bit and it will go to the edges by itself. Very carefully, we're going to lift this next cake, pop it on top, and we can squish that a bit there. The last bit is let's put this extra buttercream on top. Start from the centre. So just spread that out again. Beautiful. This is looking so good. This is one of those afternoon tea cakes. And then you can't just leave it like that. You need to build it with extra hazelnuts. They are my favourite after all. I've got a big handful here of coconut flakes So I'm going to pop that all over the top here. And then last but definitely not least, a little bit of sugar. I've just got a sieve here with a spoon. Just add about a tablespoon there and just a very light dusting over the top there. That is a magical cake. It tastes so good. It's really moist in the center. I'm going to put this on my decorative stand here. Very carefully lift, place it on top. So that is a wonderful hazelnut and coffee cake. A double whammy here with the 2 layers. Absolutely love it.